BBC comedy Ghosts is returning for a 4th series next year. There is a Christmas special airing on BBC One next Thursday, the 23rd of December, 8:30. My co-presenter, she's so happy. She's just broken out into hysterics and laughter. She's so excited. The series follows, and if you've watched it, you'll know this, cash-strapped young couple who inherit this rickety old mansion, which is haunted by a number of spooks and spirits dating back to the Stone Age.
It's so good. It's so good. It's a brilliant grown-up comedy from the Horrible Histories team, and we're delighted, I'm delighted, to be joined now by some of the cast. Charlotte Ritchie is sub-duvet, I understand. Is that right, Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm in a sleeping bag, actually.
Yeah. Breathe. Have you got access
so
to...
hot.
Oh, my darling.
Honestly,
You are.
Been 10 minutes.
Charlotte plays Alison, who can see the ghost living in her house. We've got Matt Baynton, who plays the ghost of romantic poet Thomas Thorne. Damn your eyes! And Jim Howick, who plays the ghost of the Adventure Club leader Pat. Now, the Ghosts fan base is quite a thing. I mean, you wander into that space online, and there are people who are absolutely obsessed. Big shout out this morning to Will, Lonnie, Vex, Pluto, Ellie, Tegan and Ariel, who have got up and tuned into Good Morning Sunday because the Ghost casts are on. And good morning to all of you. Now, Matt, we're going to start with you. Hello, my darling. I am beyond excited to talk to you. For those of our listeners who've not seen Ghosts, and for my co-host, who have been badgering for months to watch it.
Now I'm in trouble.
Give us a lowdown. Tell us all about it. What is it?
Wow. The short version is a couple inherit a mansion out of the blue, and they think it's solved all their problems and is a dream come true. Then they move there and discover that it's a money pit and is full of renovation issues. And then Alison, played by someone called Charlotte Ritchie.
She's lovely.
She's fine. Has an accident and has a near-death experience, and when she comes back from the hospital, she can see all of the ghosts who live in the house, and hilarity ensues, and drama.
Thereby, one of my favourite bits of them is when they decide that they might try and sell the house and move out, and they go to the high-rise block of flats and look out the window, and there's just 2 World War II pilots floating in midair, because Alison can see ghosts beyond the mansion, can't she? She can see them out and about. I also like the bit where the mansion gets taken over as a sort of village hall for a while.
One of the best things about
Pilates gets cancelled, and the Stone Age character says, "Oh, I wanted to work on my core," because he can't go to Pilates. It's one of my favourite bits. Charlotte, are they going to manage? Are Alison and Mike going to manage a quiet Christmas this year?
No. It would take a miracle. It would take a miracle for them to have a quiet Christmas. And I think truthfully, deep down, I'm not sure Alison always wants to be that would be too sad for her. But I think she does sort of on the surface desperately need some time with Mike. But no, it's not going to be quiet. And I think, I think it's sort of unavoidable, the situation that they're in. So we'll have to see. But she actually ends up on more guests than she bargains for.
Jim, you play the ever-enthusiastic Pat, the scout leader, who is delightful in trying to organise the whole household to do tasks and activities and to keep everyone going. Where did the original idea for Ghosts come from?
The idea for Ghosts came from, we just finished a show called Yonderland.
I know it.
And we just met up and just sort of threw some ideas around, really. And that was one of the first ideas we came up with. And then we went back and forth with a few others and just kept coming back to this idea of ghosts occupying this house. And really the original idea actually was that the ghosts sort of frequented each room. There was a different ghost sort of for each area of the house. So it was much more more of a sketch show narrative sort of format, but we quickly realised that I think the show would benefit from just having sort of 6 to 8 core ghosts that we could all kind of concentrate on and look.
It became a theme, didn't it, that people being stuck together and having to get on despite having really different backgrounds and ideas.
I think if we'd have had an overpopulated house full of different ghosts, then you would have got the sense that these ghosts had found each other, like sort of school outcasts would.
Although there is a crowd in the cellar, of course. There's the plague victims in the cellar, which every now and again the light comes on and they get all very excited, and then the light goes off again and they're all very sad again, which I love. What I love about it is that it's one of those shows that I can put on an iPlayer. I get in, I think, oh, there's nothing on, I just want to have half an hour with some friends, and that's what it feels like. And I'm not the only one, because this is coming from Dave from Lancashire, who says, so excited about the cast of Ghosts on today. Just want to say a huge thank you to them for keeping us going during lockdown. I'm a primary school teacher. My teaching assistants and I would be in class every day with our children of key workers.
Future Rider is this year's Shell Eco Marathon Challenge, a STEM students competition to design the car of the future.
The probability of designing a better vehicle than me is highly unlikely, but I hear it can build.
We can't wait for the Christmas special and series 4. And then it says, and especially to Thomas, damn your eyes. Because that's the other thing that started happening, is those of us who love the show start quoting it at each other. I found myself saying to someone the other day, she's a fancy blackjack. And it's just become part of our kind of conversation, and certainly for you, Pat, I mean, your character likes an egg on his bacon sandwich, don't he? God, he's going to put an egg on it.
You know, exactly. Who doesn't? That was an impro, actually.
Was it? Well, it worked fabulously. I mean, you need to get merchandise with these things printed on it. Can I just say that? But the fan base has been, the reaction's been amazing, hasn't it, Matt?
It's so gratifying, because and thank you to, was it Dan who sent that message? And thank you so much. When I was at school, you know, comedy was such a important kind of bonding thing with your friends, coming in and quoting lines from the episode of whatever you watched the night before. And I have such fond memories of watching sitcoms with my family as well, and sort of quoting lines and doing impressions of characters and stuff. And it's really, really lovely when you sort of hear that that's happening with something that you've been part of.
And it's been a gift we've given to each other. I mean, I remember watching it and then saying to my friends, have you seen Ghosts? And then somebody else, I've watched it all, and then they'll pass it on to someone else, and it's become this show that people talk about, and it's a proper all family watch, isn't it?
Yeah, we like to think so. It's that's something that's really gratifying, is that when people come up and say, you know, it's the one thing that gets everyone in the room together, so it gets everyone off their phones and sort of enjoying a show like I guess we did in the old days, you know. And it's really nice that we've managed to make a show that's an event for so many people.
Ritchie, Matt Baynton and Jim Howick are still with us. Just delighted to have you here. Now, there's obviously been comparisons with things like Rent-A-Ghost, obviously. That's a really obvious comparison. Matt, what were your go-to TV shows growing up? What's your sitcom dream list?
Oh, that's such a big question.
Isn't it?
I mean, I think like Blackadder is a shared influence for all of us, and an obvious kind of comparison to what we do, because they're, you know, dressing up period costumes. But I watched everything. I mean, I was obsessed, you know, and I would set do you remember with VHS recorders, there was a number that they printed.
Oh, Video Plus.
Yes.
That's it, Video Plus.
Great
at the bottom of the listing on Radio Times. And so, and I was really quite meticulous about Video Plusing all the comedy, pretty much, that was on.
Yeah, whatever happened to Video Plus, eh?
Charlotte, I loved your Taskmaster appearance. Was it as much fun as it looked like it was?
Oh, thank you. Probably not. No, the reason I say that is because, honestly, I just come out of lockdown and I've been sat on the floor like most days, quite a lot of the time, staring into space. So then having to sort of be vaguely entertaining. But it was incredible. I feel like, honestly, like I love doing the tasks. And then when the studio came around, I feel like I just began to learn with every episode sort of exactly like how to do it. And then I felt like by the last one, I was like, okay, now I get it. I've seen the show, but I just couldn't anticipate how it would feel to do the show. I loved it. I can't believe I got to do it. It's a huge honour.
Well, it was a delight to watch. And Jim, you've been featuring in Sex Education, of course, which has been a massive hit. Was that as much fun as it looked like?
Oh yeah, it's great fun. It's great fun. Yeah, everyone's really fun, and the kids are, well, I say kids, they're all in their 20s, most of them, but they're all excellent young adults, and it's a real laugh. It's a nice job, actually, because when you watch the show, it feels like a massive kind of vast production, but really it's just as cozy and friendly as any kind of sort of sitcom, you know.
Yeah. You're all so talented. You've all got so much going on. And Matt, we have to talk about this upcoming movie, the Wonka movie. I mean, what a cast. Timothée Chalamet, Rowan Atkinson, Matt Lucas, Sally Hawkins, Olivia Colman. I mean, what can you tell us?
I probably can't tell you much
without, come on.
without sort of legal action.
Come on. Have you signed the contract yet?
That's a good point.
If you haven't, you can tell us.
I can tell you, it's Simon Farnaby, who's in Ghosts, co-wrote the script with Paul King, and they wrote Paddington 2 together.
Yeah.
And the script is incredible, and it has the same sort of beautiful warmth and humanity that those Paddington movies do. So I think a lot of people will feel like, you can't touch Willy Wonka and you shouldn't be doing anything with it. But if anyone can make a really great movie in that world, I think it's them. And fingers crossed. The other person in the cast that I have to mention is incredible, is Keegan-Michael Key, who, as a comedy obsessive, as I was just saying, Key and Peele, if people haven't seen them, are just one of the best double acts of all time. Mm-hmm. And it's such an honour to be working with him. And he's so funny, just from the first minute he steps on set until he goes. It's an honour to be part of.
Can you also tell Simon Farnaby I love him? Especially at that role as...
You'll love him in Ghosts, then, because his hand gestures. He plays an MP in Ghosts, and the hand gestures are absolutely perfect.
But tell Simon...
I'll tell Simon you love him.
Well, tell him that role he plays as Sam Chatwin on Partridge is absolutely sensational.
Will do. Do you love him enough to watch Ghosts?
Yeah, I'm going to watch Ghosts. Listen.
I think we've done a good job on him.
She's publicly humiliated me into watching Ghosts. I'm so sorry. I've just been so busy. I'm so sorry, guys.
Jim, Charlotte, Matt, we have done a great job on him this morning.
Exactly.
Let me read you this. Chloe's just been in touch. She visited Buttonhole this week. She said it was ghost geekery heaven. She doesn't want to spoil it for anyone, but the cellar doesn't exist. And this is gorgeous. This is from Kirsty and Martin. Listen to this. We're sat in bed listening to you with our 15-week-old son, Albert. Now, Albert was born in August, and he was born a little bit early. He wasn't very well. And we binge-watched Ghost when we were in the neonatal intensive care unit, being looked after by the amazing nurses. It was just what we needed on the hardest days. So thank you so much. Albert's doing really well now. That's from Kirsty and Martin, his mummy and daddy. So there you go, look. How good is that? You get to go to work and have a great time and enjoy yourself with your friends and make brilliant telly, and it makes a real difference. Keeps people entertained. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What a delight and a joy. Now, season 4. What are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me you can't tell me anything. Do we find out about Mary's death? Mary's my favourite character. She is, would she be what? About, I don't know, 17th century, something like that?
Yes.
Something like that.
Early,
late
16th, early 17th.
Yeah, and she's a sort of a working woman with kind of she's got a burnt aura around her, hasn't she? So we suspect. I mean, one of my favourite lines is she goes, "When I walks through the livings, they smells burnings." She's So are we going to find out what happened to her?
Well, we had. There's been a running thing that she's not ready to talk about the witch trial. So it's out there that that's what happened. And that feels like too gruesome a thing to actually visit. But there is, when we do flashbacks in the show, they're not always about how someone met their death. So...
This is
about Radio 2 in the morning.
Not saying dead.
But that's the thing about the show, is that it is about death. It's about this bunch of ghosts, and we do sort of deal with some of those seemingly heavy topics, but hopefully with a light hand. And so there's more to see with Mary, but not necessarily that.
Big topics with a light hand. That sounds like a Good Morning Sunday strap.
Yeah, it does.
I'm a vicar on the radio. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Let's whiz around the table then. Plans for Christmas. Charlotte, you go first.
Oh, fingers crossed. Family do.
Nice.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Lovely. Love that. Matt?
Yeah, hoping my parents will be able to come and stay with us. And just a small